What is up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of the XS Show. As always, I'm your host, Jordan, joined by my best friends on the red couch.
B-Rad.
Grip.
And Jeff.
So, today is going to be, part one of our E3 coverage. General blanket statement, we were a little underwhelmed, but I think we still got a little bit we can get into. So, we're going to do that, like I said, in two parts. This will be part one. We'll cover Microsoft and Sony, and then we'll do a second one covering the Big N. So, let's get right into it here with Microsoft's Spotlight Conference. So we knew we were going to get specs on the Scorpio, now called the
Xbox One S.
One X. Because the acronym spells
Xbox.
It's good. 4K, like we all knew, pretty powerful, will be the most powerful console on the market. But where the fuck are the games, yo? The backwards compatibility, kind of cool, but not a selling point.
Who's going to use it?
Right. So
I would. That's all I'm going to say. For me, that was a major takeaway from their whole conference, and that's really sad. But
right. Well, here's my whole gripe with the whole deal. So I already own an Xbox One. I didn't upgrade to the S when it came out. The Scorpio had my attention because for the last year they've been like, oh, it'll be the most powerful console, which it is. But like I said, no games. And I know it's going to be able to like basically upscale and enhance some existing games. But one, I would have to buy this console, which they've slapped a $499 price tag on. And
Yep.
I'd have to buy a 4K TV to really get any visual use out of it. Those go for what now? $700-800. So you're looking at probably a $1,000 plus investment.
Yeah, I was
no
gonna
matter
say
how
for
you
a
slice
small
it.
one.
Right. So I don't know, man. To me, console not worth it. What do you think? On the couch.
I don't know. They kind of they dug a grave for themselves. They pushed so hard for it, yet they're just talking about how they're going to transition. They dropped little hints about transitioning to PC.
Yeah.
is it? But my question is it digging a grave or is it building a foundation?
I don't know.
So most of the articles I've read about Microsoft conference started with some type of headline like, did Microsoft do enough to save the Xbox brand? And that's not the kind of coverage you want coming out of E3. Like they say no, there's no such thing as bad press, but that's not what you want journalists writing about your shit.
Well, I remember a couple of years ago when they unveiled the Xbox One initially, they caught no end to the flack that people were throwing at them. I mean, that was like the worst hate barrage that I've ever seen from any of this conference of E3 because they kind of, like you said, they dug their grave with claiming that you could only play games that you bought on disc on your system, and system always had to be online.
Sony's clap back to that was the best.
It was. I mean, that's kind of what this conference reminds me of because, what they're planning doesn't sound great, but I feel like it may have potential. I'm not...
But are you going to plunk down the money?
Oh, hell no.
Right.
No.
That's what I'm saying. Why do I need this? Why does anybody need this?
Right.
What does it do?
My thought is when the games are coming to PC as well,
Right.
and I don't have to pick up a $500 console to play these games, and I have a gaming PC,
Right.
why would I pick up
Exactly.
Xbox One X?
Yeah. They did announce some okay games. I gotta say that
And okay.
Crackdown 3 probably be pretty good. You got your Assassin's Creeds, you got your Call of Duties. The one that caught my attention the most was the Arc Sys developed Dragon Ball Z fighting game, Dragon Ball Z Fighter Z. It looks really good. If you haven't watched the trailer for that, got my attention. But like when a Dragon Ball Z game is like my big takeaway from it, that's probably not good.
Well, and my thing is with Crackdown, it seems like so the first one was on Xbox.
Right.
Right. Crackdown 2 is on 360.
No, they were both on Xbox 360.
Were they?
Yeah.
Okay. So between Xbox 360, Xbox One, and then the newest one, is Crackdown 3 releasing on both?
Yeah, all of the games that
Yeah.
they're going to be bringing out are
And-
going to be.
Well, and then is the player base still there? Like, is the title still relevant?
Right. Did they just fish that out of the closet because they needed something to put on the system?
Because they see how well GTA 5 is doing,
Sure.
and they know how well Red Dead's gonna do.
Right.
Red Dead 2. So they're trying to hop back on that cash cow train
Right.
wagon
Right.
and make some moolah before they have a swift exit from the
Damn, that's bleak.
from the building. That's just me though,
So-
but I'm a hater.
Yeah. Well, but like the one game you mentioned that looked awesome, and we'll talk about it too with the Sony one. But Anthem
Right.
looks flippin' fantastic. But like you said, I'm not gonna plunk down $1,200 to play it when I can play it on our
Right.
PC.
That is what I like, though, is they give you the option. Not only are you limited to, or not limited to, having it on PC and then all their myriad of Xbox consoles, but they kind of are catering to every level of gamer. Like, if you're, like, super graphic, fiend, and you really want the absolute best that's out, I mean, the Scorpio definitely sounds like your system, but I like how they're not excluding people that have the original Xbox One and
Right.
that One S.
I just kind of feel like those people that are after the best graphical experience, they're gonna be PC gamers.
Most likely, yeah.
So
Well, some of them, the people who are heavily into their Xbox community and their gamer score and things like that,
Right.
there are some
Yeah,
of
no,
those
you'll get your
who are going to be your
you'll
definite
get your base. You'll
right.
get your buy base that
Right.
you get with anything.
And
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. I make a good wage. I'm very stable in my life.
Hashtag humble brag. Just kidding.
No, what I'm saying is, I could afford it, but I don't want it.
But why would you?
Right.
And because, a console's much cheaper, you have less problems with them. And I don't want to feel like having a PC crash out and have to get it fixed. That's just way more money down the line. It can do more things, but as more iterations of these consoles start coming out, so do they.
Right.
Like, I can surf on my Sony, on my PlayStation 4. I can, skim the dark web on there. Not really. I can't do that. But there's a lot of stuff that I can do
Obtain
on
my
there.
illegal narcotics.
No,
We're gonna get in trouble. No, we're just kidding.
we're just kidding.
Don't do that, kids.
I'm
It's
high
bad.
on life.
I think their final push is it's their VR machine as well.
Right.
We don't know what that's going to look like. We don't know how that's coming to whether it's going to be like another PlayStation $500 headset
Right. 'Cause then you're
or
talking about a whole other
Oculus Rift.
set of money. Just,
Mm-hmm.
They had a little. No, they didn't. I'm confusing my conferences. So let's jump ahead to Sony.
But wait, before we move on, there's one little gem
Okay.
called Cuphead, which looks phenomenal.
I
If you're
know.
an indie
If you
game
want it,
fanatic
yeah.
like I am, and likes all these little independently developed games, they're really charming. A 2D side scroller that looks like the Walt Disney Mickey Mouse, debut
Yeah.
animated film or whatever. I think it looks very promising, even though it's been in development for like 3 years.
2 or 3 years. Yeah.
But I'll wait. I mean,
I kind of have a sour taste in my mouth about that game because merch for that fucking shit came out before the game was done. And so a lot of these
Yeah.
like gaming shirt sites that I follow on Facebook, and it's like, get your cup. I'm like, what is it? I don't, what? No. So, not for me. But if it comes out and it's good, I'll gladly eat crow on that. So on that one, we'll see. So anyway, let's jump on ahead here to Sony. Brad, let's start with your questions. I got questions, Sony. Did any of them get answered?
Sony gave a bit, and I still love you. It's an
abusive
It's an
relationship.
abusive relationship. They didn't mean it. They didn't mean
I
it.
keep coming back.
They work so hard. I could have had dinner ready on time. But I had none of my questions answered.
No Death Stranding.
No Death Stranding. No Last of Us.
Nope.
No
No cross-platform.
No cross-platform
Multiplayer talk.
compatibility. Not that it matters because Xbox is going out of business. But
Hot take. Hot take.
No
I don't
PS5, no PSP3.
No PSP. I'm surprised by that a little bit.
So
well, I'm kind of glad they didn't come out with some PS5 news because I'm not ready for another generation.
Well,
yet.
and I was telling Jeff, I kind of am too, because I've been on the getting hyped obtaining a PS4 here lately. So
Well, so they kind of have to though, because if Xbox One X whatever
Xbox.
is gonna be the most graphically amazing, don't they want to compete?
It's like Nintendo versus Microsoft Nintendo versus Sony in the handheld. You don't have to compete graphically if you've got the games to back your system.
Which Sony does.
Yeah, and they really do.
I think that's where Sony is winning in the games department.
Exclusives.
I can
and-
rattle off 5 games right now that I want to play on PlayStation 4.
Right.
I
Yeah.
can't do that on Xbox. The ones that I can for Xbox probably are also available for PlayStation 4
or PC.
or PC. So
Yeah.
Sony's got my attention right now, despite the lack of really major E3 announcements. We saw God of War again. Still looks fantastic. We saw some more Days Gone, a little bit more polished version of Days Gone. Pretty
Yeah.
brutal. I know I said I was kind of done with the zombie genre, but man, does that look nice.
Yeah.
Jeff is our resident sort of anxious zombie game player, hates them. And he was like, I can't watch this. It's giving me anxiety. So that should tell you the kind of level of detail and attention that they're paying to that, which I hope pays off for them because it does look really good.
And
Right.
their presentation for that
Yeah,
was
if
phenomenal.
you haven't watched that from the E3 conference, make sure you watch one with the audience cuts in it. It's brutal. Yeah, that looks good. Showed another little sizzle reel of some VR stuff coming down the pike. I'm still not sold on the whole VR thing, but if you're into it, there's more games coming for you. So if you plunk down the money, be something to play, I guess. We're gonna see Anthem on the PS4, so
I'm super excited
that does look really, really good.
if they deliver that.
Right.
Like if they
Yeah.
pull you
What was your caveat?
switcheroo.
Right.
The whole Andromeda fiasco.
Yeah, where the freaking pre-alpha footage looks
Right.
better than the game.
Yeah, it's not good.
I feel
So
like
we'll
I got my eye on you, BioWare.
be cautiously optimistic on that one. Pretty impressed with Sony's games. We did see some more Detroit. Looks like they stepped it back a little bit
Well-
and kind of hashed some things out.
And that's what I was wondering is like, they didn't show you very much to begin with,
Right.
so maybe they just gave you a tidbit that I don't know. There's just not a
I'm
lot
still
of content.
hopeful for that game. I think that game looks like it's going to be good if
I
it's
was,
done right.
I was weirded out by the guy singing a little bit though.
Yeah, that's probably on purpose. So
Yeah.
yeah, it looks good. Sony closed out their spotlight with Spider-Man, which is I thought kind of a weird choice to close out your conference with. But that said, boy, does that footage look good.
Right, because I didn't watch it until just before the show, and then
Mhm.
I can see why they would.
Yeah,
That game is
it's polished as
polished.
all get out.
and I would say super dynamic.
Yeah,
Well, and
With-
it's their exclusive.
right.
You know,
like
nobody else
legit
can touch it.
exclusive, Not
Yeah.
coming to
Right.
because
No later date, no-
Who owns Spider-Man? It's not Marvel.
Yeah.
Sony owns that shit. Yeah, it looks really good. I think it'll be a great tie-in for Homecoming without being a movie game.
Yeah.
So I think they got a lot going for them there. Monster Hunter, if you're into that.
Monster Hunter
Yeah.
Worlds.
Yeah,
Do what now?
That'll be cool. Yeah, you stay over there. That looks good to me.
Right.
It's kind of cool to see the Monster Hunter stuff coming to a console that's not Nintendo. They're good games. They deserve. To
I
be
liked
played.
the innovation they did in this one. They used a cloak, a
Yes.
grass cloak that masked your scent and things like that,
Yeah.
which was really cool. Good innovation for a game I really like.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good title. So overall, I hate to do that. Like, who won E3, and I'm not gonna do that. So I'm more of a fan of like assigning grades. So for me, I got to give Microsoft like a D plus. Good presentation.
Whoa.
Man, I don't get it.
A D plus.
I don't get it. I don't understand who needs the One X. I don't. And maybe it's going over my head. Maybe
Well,
I'm just not that target
With your
demographic that they're
experience,
selling it to.
with your piss poor experience with the Microsoft
Yeah.
Xbox One,
It's not helping, but I tried to go into it objectively because I was like, come on, Microsoft, wow me. I really wanted him to, and I was just kind of I was whelmed. You know what I mean? For me, it's D plus, C minus. What are you giving Microsoft?
Microsoft.
Yeah,
I was gonna say I would say a C
C. Okay, average.
because they gave you a little bit. I mean, as far as platform news, whereas with Sony you got none of that.
Right.
With Microsoft you got platform news. With the content, not so much. So I'm gonna say a C.
Okay. How about you, Grip?
Yeah, probably a C minus.
Okay. So about kind of the same thought process there.
Yeah,
Just
I
about
mean,
average.
they kind of go through spells where their exclusivity just drops off.
Yeah.
And they're definitely hitting that mark right now. But the fact that they are kind of pushing the envelope with their hardware, I don't think that's a good sign. If their brand is in trouble, then they wouldn't be dropping all that money into development. So
Yeah, we'll see.
that's my take.
Okay. How about you, Jeff?
Like you were saying, I give their hardware, the hardware that's coming out is an A. But the fact that they don't have the games, for me, is a D. And so it all averages out just like these guys to a C.
Mhm.
Okay.
You know.
Fair
All
enough.
right. So real quick, let me ask. So Sony has some Sony Computer Entertainment of America. They have their own studios
Mhm.
that produce these games. So like, does Microsoft have a in-house developer?
They do.
Yeah.
That does
And
like
they
years.
they own several smaller ones too. They
Yeah.
own Microsoft owns the people that do the Halo games now. They own 343. They own God.
Rare.
Yeah, they bought up Rareware. A couple other ones too, but yeah, they've
Okay.
got the talent.
So
they
then,
have
yeah,
the money.
they need to stop spinning the old games and start coming out with new
Right.
material.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I mean, we did see some of that. What was that pirate themed game?
That one does look good.
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
That looks all right.
Hmm.
I'm kind of glad to see him taking a chance on something.
But that looks like a PC game as well.
Right.
right. So, as far as grading Sony, I give them a B minus, B, something like that. A lot of good looking games coming down the pipe, but I think I'm just deducting a little bit because of your unanswered questions. To be honest with you, I really wanted to see Bloodborne 2. I really did, and I really wanted to see something else about Death Stranding. It's starting to get into some weird
Yeah.
what is it? Like, just tell me.
I want to shout out another tuber. There's a guy by the name of Yang Ye, and he does
Oh yeah.
tons of
Yeah, I'm
theory
familiar with that guy,
videos, and I'm addicted to his channel because he's got some off the wall vids
Yes.
that I'm
Yes,
just
he
like,
does.
what the frick were you thinking? He must have dropped acid, but yeah, he's got some good videos. But yeah, no Death Stranding, man. But if they're taking the time to
Do it right.
yes,
We'll see.
then they can have an absence.
Yeah.
Approved absence.
So what are you giving Sony's
I give them a
Spotlight.
B,
B? Okay.
just because I wanted to hear something about the platform keeping up with every other graphics,
Mhm.
every other console's graphics, because
I think they addressed that already with the Pro, so maybe that's why you didn't
well,
really see anything.
because Xbox One X and the Switch are going to be graphically better than the PS4, right? Both of them.
about it. Switch can do a lot, but it's not quite up to that standard.
Not the Pro,
It is
definitely.
Yeah.
definitely not the Pro,
I think
and
it could
I think it's a
probably-
little bit under the regular PS4. as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
They could
There was a
probably
lot of
run
yeah.
a lot of those games, but
Yeah.
not well.
it'll run Skyrim's coming to it, so it'll be able to handle some of that stuff. But as far as like the super advanced stuff, no, you're not going to see that on Switch, and that's kind of a hallmark of a Nintendo thing. So
Just Sony fanboy.
yeah, no, I'm actually with you on this one.
Yeah.
I'm really excited for the future of Sony. I think they've got a really good plan going forward. Grip, what is your grade for the one
Sony,
with Sony?
I'm gonna say B.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe B minus, just because I've honestly been very unimpressed with a lot of aspects of this whole. I mean, I know Nintendo's still doing their thing.
Brad's gonna have a heart attack.
Hey, I mean, Last of Us. I was really holding out some hope that they were
Yeah.
gonna show something.
Yeah.
They showed that reveal trailer. What was that? Like 6 months ago, at least.
Yeah.
So there's got to be something out there. I mean,
Yeah.
they got to really capitalize on Microsoft's shortfalls. So
Right.
I take it as You see how many trailers and teasers we got for Andromeda? They're
See how well
spending
that
so
worked
much
out?
time putting out teasers and trailers. They didn't work on the game.
Right.
Yeah.
So
But the Spider-Man thing alone, man, that trailer just blew me away.
Yeah.
So,
Does look good.
and as the biggest Spider-Man fan, I think I know, Jeff. What's your?
I give Sony a strong B, a B plus.
Okay.
Spider-Man, the fact that it's running most of the games that other people are running, Anthem and everything, they hit
good.
it. They hit it
That
out of
looks
the park.
good. Looks good.
Anthem, I'm really excited for that.
Yeah. That's.
Excited yet guarded.
I'm curious to see how they stack up if you get the PS4 and one of us picks up the PC one. How they compare side by side. It's gonna be a good game.
Fallout VR has got my attention. I know you're not.
Oh
all
yeah,
about
I kind of
VR,
I did for
but the fact that they're going to bring that out for VR, and they're talking about Skyrim for VR too.
right.
Mhm.
And I mean, I know that Bethesda's getting some hate for re-releasing all these games, but
It was me. I was hating.
Retread.
and I can feel you, but still at the same time, I'm like, those are two of the best games to bring out
Yeah.
into VR. So
Yeah.
VR retreads aren't retreads for me, just personally.
yeah,
Because it is a whole new perspective.
Right.
Like, I feel like they need to kill Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
It needs to die.
Yeah.
That's just me.
Needs to take the Star Wars route and just go away for a few years, and then come back strong when you got a good team working on it and a done game. That's 75% finished. Good enough. There you go. Anyway, that's going to wrap it up for our thoughts on Sony and Microsoft's E3 presentations. We'll have another video coming up with our thoughts about the Nintendo conference, so be sure and check that. As always, thank you guys for joining us. I've been your host, Jordan, joined by my best friends on the Red Couch.
B-Rad.
Grit.
And Jeff.
We'll see y'all soon.
Peace.